Welcome to CloudRock Conversations and to our series Work in Progress, where careers begin and confidence grows.
If you're joining the world of work this year, or you've already joined and you're quietly Googling how to sound confident in a meeting, this one's for you.
So I'm Freya. I joined CloudRock in November 2024.
And I'm Natalie, and I joined CloudRock in July 2025.
So we both sit in the change team, and we just wanted to share a few lessons, hints and tips for graduates who are entering the workplace, because these are the kind of things that I wish someone had told me when I first joined.
And I think we both struggled with a few of these things as we joined CloudRock, and we've kind of spoken about them along our journey, so it would definitely be useful to share it with some listeners.
Yeah, I think one of the first things, obviously, so I went to the University of Birmingham, Ashley went to Leeds, and I think it's just so bizarre going straight from like uni where it's so structured. You know, you have a syllabus, a clear expectation, you have like your dissertation or labs or something, and then you get into the workplace where it's a totally different structure, and kind of like even the commute, like going in, it's so different. But it's just one of those things where it takes a while to adjust. Like, I think, Natalie, you felt the same way, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say I'm a very structured person, and I thrive off of having structure and routine. And I think when you're at school or at university, you always have sort of a timetable and a structure to your day, and people tell you where you need to be and what you need to have and what you need to do. And work isn't so much like that. Of course, you have calls that are sort of structured into your day, but nobody tells you when.
Meetings.
Yeah, but like nobody ever tells you like where you need to be and when and for how long. It's sort of like knowing how to adjust to things like that.
When you start off, you don't have too many calls, and then the busier you get, the more senior, like you'll find out that people's meetings are just insane. They're sort of back to back. And so I think as well, it's really important to be like intentional with your time, you know, recognize that everyone's time's super valuable, go into meetings with a clear purpose, you know, set the agenda, kind of position it up front and say, why are we here? What do we want to get out of it? And also, I guess, like when you're first starting out, positioning that as like, what do I want to learn from this meeting as well?
I guess it also depends on the position that you're in and whether you've joined at a time where work's really busy or really quiet. But I know that when I started at CloudRock, it was really busy, and it could sometimes be frustrating not knowing why people weren't replying so quickly to me. But then you quickly realize that people are really busy.
Yeah,
and it's really
like midway through the project, like full steam ahead, everyone was just flat out.
Yeah, so I think you just don't always have that realization that people are very busy and that you need to be so intentional with your time. And when you do book in time with people, just making it really clear about what the agenda is for your meeting, or even if it's just a one-to-one, like making sure that you let someone know, like, this is why I'm calling you. It will only take this long, sort of thing. So that's definitely important.
Definitely, like communicating clearly what you need, what you're asking someone, I think definitely helps. And especially at CloudRock, like especially when you're talking to people more senior, as Natalie said, like they are busy, but they will get around to helping you. So it's just kind of being patient with that as well. I think clear communication definitely helps you get organised, but you look more organised and professional as well, which is really good.
Working and starting as a grad, you are building your own personal brand, and having that confidence and like professionalism, even when you may not feel it, because I don't a lot of the time.
You've mastered it.
Yeah, but it's making sure that you know how to come across professional and confident, especially in front of a client.
Yeah, I think,
and I know you were exposed to that a lot at the beginning.
Yeah, very early on I was exposed to sort of the client side of the role, same with you. And it was definitely a bit daunting being out of my comfort zone. But I think the more you speak to people, you get to know them and like who they are, what their role is on certain programs and in teams, and it definitely helps build your confidence. And the more you do it, the experience just helps so much. But I think, I was definitely a bit nervous going into it, which I think is probably quite normal.
It's completely normal. Yeah. 100%.
But I think, I'm such like a people person that I just nurtured those relationships, and I kind of just remembered that everyone's human at the end of the day. Everyone wants to do a good job. So,
and they're just people.
All you can really ask. Exactly.
We're all just people. Everyone's in the same boat. And I think there's always that adrenaline just before you meet a client for the first time, or you have a meeting that you've been preparing for, and like you always feel that adrenaline, which isn't a bad thing. I think it means that you care.
Yeah. Did you find it weird, like coming in because obviously the teams were so like clear cut, and I think so when I joined the program and CloudRock, mine was sort of at the infancy of the program, like we were just at the launch phase, whereas you came in kind of right before deployment almost. So
yeah,
it was
it's
kind
hard. I think it's
yeah,
hard when relationships have already been built between people on a
yeah,
program, and also when there's so many. So with the program that we were on, it was obviously a massive program, and there were a lot of names and faces to learn.
yeah.
So I feel like that was actually really challenging in itself. And just tracking back to the point about feeling nervous, I think it's just really important to realize that everyone feels nervous. And I think being prepared makes you feel less nervous, but even after doing so, you always feel that rush of adrenaline before a big pitch or a big meeting. And it's normal for everyone to feel that way.
But I think it's because like we care and we want to do a good job. So it's just kind of how you channel that, and you know that you've got the materials, like you know what you're talking about, you know that you're prepared, and I think it's like 5 minutes and then you get into the flow. So it is, if you don't know something, be open and honest about it. No one's going to judge you. I mean, I literally ask so many questions every day, but I think it's just like that culture at CloudRock where everyone relies on other people's expertise. Like you do have so many different specializations across the business. You know, we're doing advisory, like delivery optimization. I mean, there are definitely a lot of people who have experience across the board. But it's rare that people have like the same amount of knowledge in depth across everything. So you're not expected to know everything. And I think that, asking those questions, no one's going to say no.
Even though we're very junior and we just joined as grads, people still come to us to ask us questions about things on projects, or like if they've just joined like a certain stage of a project and we've already been on it, they'll come and ask us questions. And it's actually quite rewarding to be able to pass that expertise that you've gained so quickly onto somebody who's not necessarily specialized in that area, but is looking to gain a bit more of a broad understanding of it. So it's nice.
It is definitely that sort of validation. Other people know that I know what I'm doing now, which is good. It's like definitely a big testament to our characters. So that's good. And I think as well at CloudRock, we have like lunch and learn sessions. So there's always that opportunity to upskill others and actually learn about different areas of the business so that you can like take that into different avenues.
Yeah, and just for context, the lunch and learn is basically a lunchtime session that we have on Fridays where somebody from the business will present something that they're specialized in or they have expertise in so that other people can learn from them. And I think what's quite nice about it is that it's not just people who are very senior who necessarily present, but it's also an opportunity for grads to present. So Freya and
we're going to do one, aren't we?
We're going to do one on tools that we use in change. Because I think especially right now in the world, technology is very rapidly evolving, and that's something that we're very exposed to, especially having just come out of education. There's a lot of tools that we know about that other people don't necessarily know about. So it's always nice to share things like that.
I know. I think it's so weird. So part of our lunch and learn is going to be on like different AI technologies and things. And I think it's so funny because at uni, I don't know if it was the same for you, but if I was doing exams and things, like they'd do a check to see if you've used AI, and obviously it wasn't allowed.
Whereas sign a form saying that we didn't use it.
Yeah, and it's kind of like considered cheating. Whereas in the workplace, I think it's actively encouraged, like just sort of recognizing how powerful it can be as a tool. Obviously, it doesn't have all of the surrounding context that people are able to provide, but I think it can be really powerful as a tool if it's used correctly. When you bring the people, the tools, and that mentoring and nurturing of like how to use the system in the best way, so like still having your own thinking, still having that, applying that context, but then it can be really powerful and actually a huge accelerator.
I mean, we use it pretty day to day, even if it's just for like
I've got it toggled on our toolbar.
Yeah. But it is on my toolbar. Even if it's just to like sort of shorten something or like use it as a starting point for a task when I'm not quite sure how to start with wording. It's really useful. But I think
Or
what's
like
really
summarizing meeting
important,
minutes.
yeah, exactly. But I think even in my day-to-day life, I use it to organize my shopping list by eye also. I know, like, to check things off in
This
order.
This is the organizer in you coming out.
Yeah. It's also important to realize that it's not to be used in isolation. So even though it does have the power to do those things, people value our service for our human layer that we add to it and our heart that we add to it. So it's not just sort of, all of the functional work that we put into things, but it's also like how we add our flair, our
definitely. We're like a people business, aren't we? So it's like you can't take that away and replace that with AI. It's just not really realistic.